Figures the dogs would be barking now. Save the music for you this time.
We definitely need a new intro.
Yeah, that's one we got. So,
Working with what we got.
so hope y'all had a great week. We had a pretty good one, pretty decent.
Not over.
Not over.
And there's so much to do.
Yeah, it's been a little too much this week. So we're hanging in there. The weather currently right now is decent, but we're supposed to have rain for about a week. So not happy about that really, because it's just gonna make my grass grow.
Well, some people want their grass to grow. They want their garden to grow.
I want my grass to die. But we're in no danger of anything. We got 26 acres of things that won't die, because
Except for some trees.
well,
Yeah.
only a few of them, and mainly because they're getting choked out by all the other trees because the other ones are growing so much. You know, I was just thinking this morning, we'll have to show some pictures on the channel about, we're blessed and what we get to look out at and what's behind us and all that kind of stuff that no one ever knows. But like right now, I'm looking out and thinking those trees were not that big when we first got here.
No, it has not taken very long for them to grow fast.
And for us, we can't see some. I mean, we still see some of the scenery and the hills and stuff across from us, and we're up, so we still see a lot. But I have a love-hate relationship with those because the opposite of that is people can't see us. So
Yeah.
we're kind of
Well, I think it's a perfect reminder of how easy it is to take something for granted, because that is an incredible view and something we get up in the mornings and we pull back the curtain so that we can see it all. But do we really stop and go, wow, that's a lot?
yeah. The few times I've posted pictures about it on Facebook, people are like, "Oh, where are you? Where are you vacationing?" I'm like, "Nope, this is
Not vacationing.
That's where we live."
Yep.
So anyway, I got to start a story. Got to always start off with whining about returns. That's going to be my thing.
Oh, my word.
Whining about returns.
Don't indulge him. Do not.
So this is like, we had one where,
This needs to become a book.
yeah, well, it could be because all the return stories, but
they're,
this,
they're always interesting.
we had one that the guy literally waited until the full 30 days before he hit the return button. So what in the world he was doing, we hear people talk about this all the time about,
They rent.
yeah, they're renting your stuff, and it was something pretty nice. So maybe he enjoyed it for a month, and now he's sending it back to us. But
Now he's decided they don't fit.
yeah, all of a sudden, after 30 days of wearing them. But we did have someone else, and I was like, this is where I just really had, and Hope had to remind me, just you need to pray.
Pray first. Do not respond. Pray.
Because this
And
guy,
then go talk to Groke.
yeah, and get ChatGPT or somebody to help you be nice, because our policy is the same policy on every single listing we have. All 20, we can't get over 2,300 right now, can we? Is that our number? Or 2,400.
We've not gone over 20. We're like 22. We keep hovering between 22.93 and 22.95. It seems.
So 2,300 we can't seem to get over because.
But I'm
because
not
of
complaining.
sales, yeah.
Yeah.
But all 2,300 ish have the same return policy.
We think they have the same return policy because
Well, we've worked on that quite a bit.
weird things keep popping up, and we're like, that is not one of our policies. Why is that there?
But I got a message from somebody, and so they had not started a return. And they said, "Hey, just want to know if you could waive the shipping on this pair of pants, because I just tried them on. I didn't wear them. I just tried them on, and I'd like to return them because they don't fit." So I just wanted to say no. That's just all I wanted to say. I'm like, I don't know. I can't blame the guy for asking,
You would ask.
but I wouldn't have done the second part. At least I say I wouldn't have done it. But the first part was, I was like, okay.
I think you know no shame sometimes, so I think you might.
It might be payback.
Exactly.
But I was like, okay, how do I say this really nicely? You know the return policy because
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't be messaging me and asking me this question. Also, we make so little off of these individual items that if we were to pay for people to ship it back to us because they failed to do their homework and figure out what size they wanted, I think this particular deal was something maybe like they were too long in shorts, and we provide inseam measurements and pictures and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, by the way, that's our livestock guardian dogs that hate ambulances with a passion. You think they're dying out there. But I waited. I took a lot of deep breaths. I said a prayer. I went and used chat and said, how can I be nice about this? And so I didn't just do this quick no. I gave them a nice little paragraph of just
Explaining
reminder,
the policy again,
policy,
as you
the
saw.
policy.
Basically, you're pointing out to him
Yeah.
the fact that this was there
And you knew it,
and you knew it.
or else you wouldn't be messing with
Yeah.
me. But I didn't say it that way.
Okay.
Really super nice way. And
So you didn't let your inner self
no,
that through.
not,
Okay.
not the true
Uh-huh.
Michael.
What part of no don't you understand?
Yeah, I hid the ugly. And so I got an immediate response, which was, well, can't you just waive it? I spent all that time trying to be nice. Now I got to be nice again.
Uh-huh.
So I went into yet another being nice about it, and Hope said, hey, tell them. If you want to avoid paying shipping to send us back the pants that are perfectly good shape, that are exactly as described, then why don't you try selling them yourself? And I thought about it. We included that as an option because this came up one other time, and it was a seller, a very experienced seller. So anyway, not to go back to that. But then after the fact, and I haven't heard from him since, and he hasn't started a return, but I thought, you know what? I don't know. That might not have been a good idea because he might take,
Another 30 days?
he can't take another 30 days.
Or his 30 days.
But
anyway.
he might max out his 30 days trying to sell them, and then if they don't sell them, then he's going to send them back. Meanwhile, I could have already listed them and sold them by him. So anyway.
By the way, we have a Swamp Picker joining us for the first time.
Hey, Swamp Picker.
Welcome. Swamp Picker, are you an eBay reseller? And if so, do you accept returns?
Yeah, what's your return policy? We have so many, we look at this all the time, especially when we're doing comps. We're like, oh, gosh, there's a lot of people offering free shipping. If you know anything about being in Amazon and all that kind of stuff, I mean,
we've learned a lot.
Yeah,
And
they get burned pretty bad.
Yeah.
We're pretty guilty about, let's get, two different sizes, and whichever one fits we'll keep and the other one we'll send back. Well, those people get burned.
I know, yeah, but it comes from, we do that a lot. We used to do it in
Used to do it a
stores
lot.
because you hated to try on clothes.
Used to have money to buy clothes. We don't.
Yeah. Now we can only shop in the thrift stores.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to go to a store and buy 3 different sizes of the same pants
Because
to bring
I
them home
hated-
and make him eventually try it on. And, eBay and Poshmark. Great. So, I don't want to say anything bad. We don't know anything really about Poshmark. We had tried it a little bit, but
Except
are
we
you
hear-
being hit by the
Hearing
changes?
There's been some drama with y'all.
Yeah.
If you use one of those, what are they called?
Auto lister,
Something like that.
anyway, software. So we're trying to specialize in eBay and keep ourselves in one lane. I don't think,
At least for now.
yeah, for now. And we did say though, the only way we would sell on another platform is if we can afford to buy the software to handle, the listings and relistings and stuff. So maybe one day.
Yeah, but now, who knows which one you should use? Because if it's one of those that automates all those things that Poshmark doesn't like. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I just think we're all being kept on our toes, and for us at the moment, keeping up with eBay is enough to keep us.
Speaking of
yeah.
keeping up, so.
He said he's been lucky so far with
that's good.
Poshmark.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's great.
Well, we told you last week that we would kind of give you a rough recap of the summer seller check-in if you didn't go to that. We're going to just be brief about it, and I'll do some other follow-up stuff later because
They didn't go deep.
they didn't. And in the first hour, it was pretty wide open, and I jotted down as much as I can. Good thing about it, we figured there was going to be one, and then they did clarify there was going to be a replay. And so we can go back and look at some stuff because they do like one main hour that's like, this is, everybody's in on that.
Like the main stage.
And then after that is a bunch of breakout sessions.
Yeah, so what they have available right now is the main stage, that portion, which is about an hour long.
Yeah.
And then they had 4 breakouts from that, and those recordings are available if you follow that link when you registered. But I don't know that the other sessions videos have come out yet, so
Yeah. I
we
did
didn't get to
see-
sit through that one.
Well, I couldn't because a lot of them were simultaneous. But
Cool.
we also had too many sales, and we had to get our shipping to the post office, which is a problem.
Yeah, so we had to head out. Swamp Picker says he was at the Nashville meetup last week with about 200 sellers, and they had a lot of garage sales. Wow, we do most of our sourcing in thrift stores. We've been able to find enough inventory to keep us really busy, so we haven't needed to do garage sales or anything, but we're in
Well-
Alabama, so
Well,
it's
he may not
sweet.
realize that I used to bring home a lot of stuff, so I don't need to go to the grocery. I'll just go
Well,
to the basement.
we do have a garage sale in our basement, which we've shared this week.
We need to start with that.
I actually haven't posted that video yet, but yesterday we took our 3rd item. So roughly 2 weeks ago, we started tweaking the number of listings today. We're trying to keep our inventory from getting too big. It's already enough to manage right now, and sales have been kind of steady. So we were trying to tweak it so that our store's not shrinking, but it's not growing too fast either. But we committed to starting to pull things from our basement. We used
Which
to
was
renovate
the plan from the beginning.
from the very beginning. This is how we came to eBay. We kind of lost our way. No, seriously though,
Seriously, we lost
it
our
was
way.
a lot easier for us in the beginning to list and sell clothes because they all pretty much go in the same size bag. Shipping is not super complicated. But we did start about 2 weeks ago, started listing 1 item a day from our basement, from our old construction days. And we've sold 3 of those items. And
One thing sold in 30 minutes.
yes, there was a
30 minutes.
lantern, like a porch light kind of thing, new in the box, listed it.
It was an entrance wall mount lantern.
Okay.
It was the LED version.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't even list it at a great time. Like, I was behind on listings. The listing went up at 9:00 p.m. Central Time, and before 9:30 it was sold.
Yeah. So
For the asking
we have
price.
brand new stuff in the box, never opened because I would buy in bulk
Mm-hmm.
and for my flips. And so we sold some smoke detectors and
Right, smoke detectors,
what was the other
and a
thing?
faucet,
And a
tub and shower faucet.
So
So there's more of that to come.
yeah.
If
So we're gonna
anybody's
keep-
looking for it.
Yeah, that's helpful. The more that gets out of the way, the more that we can bring in and store other things. So we've maxed out we haven't maxed out, but we just don't want it to get any more crowded than it already is. So
Yeah.
anyway, swinging back to summer summer seller check-in, and we do want to know more about that. Was it a Nashville eBay? Was it eBay specific,
Meetup.
or was it just a group like a local group like we have tried to?
Yeah,
We'll let him answer
he says,
that.
I know a few pickers in Alabama. I'm from Louisiana.
Ah,
Okay, so you're not from the Nashville area. So was this a meetup with an eBay group, or was it a YouTube group of resellers, or anyway,
let us know.
love to hear more about that.
So just real quickly, one of the things that they brought up was what they call the up and running grants, and they're doing it again this year. And I'll let Hope talk more about it, but it's $10,000, and we were super rookie when we found out about it last time. We waited pretty much to the last minute. Well, I think we maybe heard about it really late and had
Yeah,
no
I can't
idea
remember.
what we were doing when we did it. But it was a really good
Exercise,
process
yeah.
that we just to think about. So tell them a little bit about the up and running grant.
Well, it is apparently they've been doing this for 6 years. Is that right?
Something like that. I don't know.
Anyway, it was a really large amount of money that they have given away over that time. I don't remember if it was called the Up and Running Grant last year. It seemed like it was called something different, but we were new. We'd only been on eBay for less than 2 months when we made the application for it, and I think you're supposed to have been a seller on eBay for 6 months. If
At least that's what they
correct.
said this time. So
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that last time. So it's possible we filled out the whole entire application
reason.
for no reason and we didn't qualify, but we didn't hear anything back. But it was really a good exercise to go through and think about, what your plans are and to dream with about what you would do with $10,000 to improve your business. And I think that it would be a really good exercise for even if you didn't get the grant. So to just think, how would you spend $10,000 to improve your business so that when you do have the funds, if you have a plan, like where would you spend the first $1,000? Where would you spend the second $1,000? And to think in advance so that you're not making money and then going, oh, okay, where do we need to spend it? And then not accomplish what you need to in your business. So the session that they had yesterday was on a little bit of a direction on
just a little bit.
direction on telling your story and
Which is important not only for the grant, but it's important for your store if you have a store. So that's another discussion.
I mean, because you can tell your story. I didn't realize this until just past week or so that there was a description section of our store we never filled out. And so I did go in and just recently put a little bit of effort into explaining who we are and what we do. Because initially we didn't know what we were going to sell.
We know who we are.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out. When we grow up, what we want to be is.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
But it was a good session on utilizing AI because everybody's going to use it, but instructing people, don't go into AI and just say, give me 300 words to explain blah, 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 or how I would spend $10,000 or whatever. Don't do that. Like, use it strategically. And if you've not used AI, it is really helpful to sound out ideas and have somebody
you have to be careful.
You do have to be careful because I've made some mistakes by listening to what the AI taught me about YouTube, and the information that I got was incorrect. And then when I went,
correct AI.
I went back and said,
That should scare
"Hey,
everybody.
I did what you told me, and this happened. So did I do something wrong?"
Got the opposite effect.
Yeah. So I think that was actually ChatGPT that came back and said, "Wait a minute, let me look," and it went dead, like no activity for like 5 minutes. And I typed in, "Are you still there?" And it popped back up and said, "Yeah, sorry, I'm still here. I just did some deep diving, and it turns out that there have been some quiet changes."
You're right. And
So,
guess what?
anyway,
their
nothing
breakout-
is the gospel out there.
Now, their breakout session really was warning people, because what they don't want you to do is just throw in, "Hey, I'm filling out this grant, answer the questions," and then you cut and paste and throw that in there, because they're going to know. And so they're not saying don't use AI, because they were definitely saying use AI, but they were saying use it smart. And so we can do videos about that later, because we're going to fill it out again. And
Yeah.
some people...
We need $10,000.
Yeah, we need 10,000. But some people have done it 3-4 times, and then all of a sudden, they got the $10,000 grant. And so, there's the process of refining who you are, what your store is about, all that kind of stuff is just going through the process.
Just a very good exercise.
Good exercise. So that's one thing. The other one was some business updates, and they were talking about an AI shopping assistant for buyers. Now, let me just say, we're not buyers that much.
No.
So when we don't see, I guess we can see, we do buy some stuff.
We do.
But,
We buy a lot more on eBay now than we ever have.
But I don't know that we'd use an AI assistant for what we're doing. But that's a new thing. Don't know anything about it. Follow-up video once we figure out more about it. But it's supposed to help
And it's
them.
kind of in beta right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
I
to
think
help
a
them.
few people have had
help
access
the
to it.
buyer. So as a seller, we do need to know kind of how that works because we want AI to promote us.
That's true. So we need to know what the AI is looking for and what information stands out.
So another thing they just kind of under seller news, they talked about a certified open box program. So once again, they kind of glazed over it, and I guess there's some people that already kind of do that. And I don't know much about that one, and we don't sell.
We don't sell a lot of new merchandise or like new in the box kind of stuff.
Well, the stuff downstairs is new.
Well, this is new to us.
But
so
this is specifically open
Yeah.
box.
okay.
So that probably means Amazon returns, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. They did bring up something that I thought, okay, we definitely want to take advantage of this, but there's kind of two different parts. One of them is their AI social video. And way that this is supposed to work, short answer to this, is that it's going to take pictures from your existing listing. And it's going to throw those pictures together. And, you might have to answer a few questions, but it's going to take this information from your listing. And then you're going to be able to hit a button and post it on your social network.
I want to see that. I'm eager to play with it or see a demonstration of it because
We saw a 3-second demonstration.
and it wasn't much of it. I mean, there was no video, no sound or anything to it. So
But I mean, it looked cool
yeah,
for whatever it was. I mean, the only thing we talked about was where do we want to send these kind of things, because we don't want a bunch of because we debate about this a lot, and we've heard other people talk about that. If you just have a bunch of looky-loos come to your store and don't buy, that's a bad thing. So if we're putting it on our personal page where people really aren't looking for the stuff, but they kind of personally, what's Michael up to kind of deal.
and they go and look.
They go and look, but they don't buy anything. That's not a good thing. And so anyway, we're still debating on how
to strategically use that.
yeah. But I mean, it is cool.
So any insights that any of you may have, definitely welcome, because I think there's, when we talk about the eBay algorithm, it's complicated because nobody knows exactly what it's looking at. And we don't want to take advantage of jumping into something and then actually having it hurt our store as a result. So cool stuff, but how do we use it wisely?
Yeah. So we'll dig a little deeper on that, and then if some of y'all have already looked at it, let us know what you thought. Something else is, is nice. Not like, it is kind of cool. Is the chat translation. So we do accept international buyers.
To our knowledge, I don't think we've had any.
I don't think we've had
buyers,
any.
but
We don't really know if we did it correctly, because I still don't
we
understand.
didn't opt out, so
Yeah, I don't understand.
we're
completely
included.
If eBay takes our shipping and adds to that, because we're only supposed to send it to the fulfillment center and then they send it overseas. But anyway, if you start to get some international buyers and, they are messaging you in a language you don't understand, you're supposed to be able to translate their language to yours, or if you choose to interact with them in their language, you can take your language and translate it to that. So either way, it sounds pretty cool, but not something we've really had to deal with too much lately. So we'll see how that works. They did throw out a bunch of, some, because of when we registered, everybody asked questions. And so they kind of combined the most
Commonly asked.
commonly asked. One of them was like best practice for the research tool. I'm going to pause and not talk about that until a later time, because
I just think the research tool is mere suggestion.
well, we brought this up, and I am
Over and
gonna-
over again.
I am going to do a proper video. Okay, I think Hope's figured out how I can do a proper video on this to show how, if you're not careful, you're going to get comps that have nothing to do with the thing that you're trying to. So that's a different discussion. One was how to increase buyer engagement, and so they have brand ambassadors. Who knew? So they've got influencers and like a race car driver and some other stuff that are doing things. So
Representing all of us at the Met Gala.
yeah, so I'm not sure many of them are looking for my Carhartt pants, but anyway, that's some of the stuff that they've been doing. But they did throw in the very generic thing about making your listing better, and I think plenty of people have talked about photos and proper condition and that kind of stuff, and we'll talk about that again. We've talked about it in the past, but they were like bemoaning the fact that some people only put like 2 or 3 pictures.
Yeah, I think that's probably made worse because of other platforms that only require, may not even require any
True.
photos, because
Yeah.
you
So
can.
maybe you can tell us on your
Swamp Picker.
Yeah, your Poshmark stuff. I guess you don't have to do as many photos, do you?
I think you could do as little as one, and on Whatnot, sometimes you can sell without doing any photos whatsoever. You just hold the item up and show it, and that's it. So to me, that's what makes it a little complicated to try to sell on multiple platforms. Is the standards are very different, and the engagement is very very different.
And they just changed
Yeah.
all that for everybody.
So-
So, and just the stuff that we won't get into in this video, but condition, cores, different opinion about cores, but using video, we have tried it.
It's not easy.
Hope's not happy about the fact that you have to, if you're doing a listing, you have to do your photos, and then you have to back out and do a video, and then you have to upload the video.
Right. You can't take the video in the app. So to me, it's just a big hassle. And when you're trying to do multiple listings per day, I'm trying to work efficiently, and I'm already slow enough. So,
Yes, so I don't know, like ideally, if we could pick, the best one of the day, just one of them, and trying that, but it's not super straightforward, and so that's the video thing. It should just be able to, like you're taking a picture, you should just be able to just hit the video button and start recording. But anyway,
yeah, that would be nice.
they talked about, sending and accepting seller offers, supposed to be. Now, we don't want to spend 30 minutes of me getting all huffy about how offers are managed right now, but there's supposed to be a whole new section. They're working on it.
Okay, I just have to ask, are we alone? Like, if you do offers, do you struggle to track, like, you sent someone an offer,
Well, the
and
problem is not we just send one person. We just
well,
sent
that's
10 or
my
15.
point. Is
I
that,
can't
okay?
keep track.
Like, if you send out 5 offers, you can't remember what offer you sent to someone, and if they send you a counter offer and you can't see what your initial offer was, that is super frustrating, because unless you're sitting and taking notes, or there's some secret room that we don't know about.
Well, what I end up having to do is I have to get up and go back to the desktop, and I have to look at it on the website. And sometimes when I do that, it will tell me, "Oh, you offered this," but I don't know how many times that I've
There's
gone in,
nothing there.
There's nothing there,
Yeah.
and so I'm just like, I think I'll offer this, so this is going to be my counter offer. And then after I do that, then it shows it to me. Like, it's too late now. I've already sent the
Now I've
offer.
already made this person think I'm a goober because I sent them a counter offer that was
higher than
the last one.
if that's
So,
what I did. Who
yeah.
knows? But anyway,
Sometimes it sells.
yeah. So that's supposed to be, getting better. But Anyway, someone else was, I mean, not somebody, but apparently several people are asking about sending coupons to buyers. We do that. We used to just send it to people who had bought from us in the past. We've done a couple different things. I don't really see where we get, I think there's very few people who ever use our coupon, but they take advantage of our sale. And I don't know if you can stack those.
Well, you did do a coupon back in February where you had something until the end of the month. And when I was checking it this morning,
That one had
that one you made $1,200 in sales
Oh.
from that one coupon.
from that coupon. So there we go. But there's a whole different thing where we just want to see how, we just woke up to this morning, just this morning. Don't know anything about it, but all of a sudden there was on our listings. Now we don't see it. We didn't get an email telling us that eBay was going to do this. I kind of freaked out. It's like, did you start a coupon without, telling
Exactly.
me?
It was my fault. He's like, "Did you start another coupon?" And
Or
I
did
said,
start one? I
"No."
forgot that I started one.
But it did sound like something we might have written.
Well, it sounded like something you would have written because
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put it that way. But
Yeah.
anyway, apparently eBay created a coupon, and it's Relove 20, I think is what it is right now, and we're one of the buyers that they included.
It shows up on our listing, but we don't see it unless we found it accidentally because we were looking up something else. And so we went to look at the listing to check on something, the information, and saw this coupon there that we didn't put there. So that's new to us, or
hey,
newly discovered by
could
us,
be a
maybe.
good thing because I think that one runs to like the 13th. So if we have
5
a really
days.
good week, and eBay pays that discount, that'd be huge.
I hope they pay that.
So some people are asking, like, how do we keep track of, all these changes and different things? Unfortunately, one of the things they said was follow us on Instagram. And Hope I think you found one of them, but I was like, no, there's 6 different Instagrams at least.
I thought there was just one eBay for sellers, but I do know that the eBay for sellers that I follow is not just the U.S. because there was information on there about, I don't remember, some program that I was like, hey, I want to know about that, and we went to try to apply for it or whatever. Maybe it was what are we? Top Seller Plus, which is actually not a thing here. It's in the UK or something. Anyway, it was.
Okay, she's really confused. So
No.
don't.
Okay, it was something that I was looking up, and I dug into it, and I actually went to the Facebook group to ask that chat person about help applying for it or
Why do
whatever.
we have to go to Facebook group? To get
Good,
support?
very, very good question. And so that person said, "Oh, I don't know about this program," so I included a link to it, and then they searched and found out that it was actually not for the U.S. yet; it was in the U.K. So it just seems like there's a lot of gaps in information, and things are tested in other places, and it makes it to Instagram, and it may or may not be for us. So we have to do a lot of weeding out when we read something and understand that it may not actually apply to us, at least in the U.S. yet. And I'm assuming that's because we're the biggest market. I don't know.
Because, if they're going to test something, they're going to test it on a
It's a smaller market. Yeah.
That way, if it flops, a smaller group of people are going to be mad.
Complaining about it. Yeah.
Because we had something weird that showed up in the app, was it last week, and then disappeared again. They changed
The location of
how you do
offers.
So I don't even think it made it a full day. So I don't know if a bunch of people
Well,
complained about it or what.
now that you mentioned that, maybe that is part of what they were saying was going to roll out over the next month. There's supposed to be a
and-
new,
I want to transition to the guy that came in and talked about SIO.
yeah. So SIO is
Well, yeah, I don't know what that stands for.
seller initiated offers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
SIO.
SIO.
That's what they call it.
I'd never heard the terminology. So is that new terminology for this new supposed system for making offers?
Yeah, they gave that guy about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit more than 30. Maybe
He
40.
probably should have had 2 hours
Yeah, he was
because there was a
fairly
lot of
sharp,
questions.
but he didn't have a lot of time. So he talked about, and I've seen where there's a section that says offers, and then in blue letters it says new. So I think
Oh.
it's still,
Kind of in
Like,
beta-ish
yeah.
being tested.
but it's supposed to be about how you're going to be able to manage offers.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if
That improves.
if my whining and complaining can stop in that department, because
That'd be nice.
yeah, it'd be nice, but who knows? We'll see. But that is something else. I mean, I didn't even know what SIO, and I was scrambling to write this stuff down as fast as possible. But they had a
That's why it's a good thing we do eBay together because it takes 2 brains.
Yeah, take 2 or 2. I'm not sure make 1, but we're especially at our age. But he mentioned something was coming in June and active offers. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm not sure. And then there was stuff about automated offer duration, so you can make certain offers and they're good for a certain amount of time. Certain things, if you made this offer, it would shut down other things for that period of time. There's a whole lot of stuff, but all of this is like coming.
Yeah,
So I'm not
I
really
think-
worried about what's coming. Right
Yeah.
now. I just want to see.
So a lot of stuff is on its way,
Yeah.
supposedly.
So I want to spend some time digging into the new hub for offers, and hopefully that will simplify my life, kind of.
Make you a happy camper.
Yeah. And we briefly talked about the AI social sharing, which I do think, I don't know, we're on the fence. At one point, I think this could be really great. And the other part, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to help or not. But they're supposed to help us automate this stuff, and it's going to help us
Yeah.
link to our accounts real easy and create your custom post.
Yeah,
and-
I want to know what people think. Like, if you guys make offers, do you share? Well, not if you make offers. Like, if you're a reseller, period. Do you share your store? Do you share your store on other social network platforms?
If so, which ones?
Yeah, and do you share it as your store or do you share it on your personal? Because we are just, I am much more hesitant because I'm afraid of ramifications. So I just want to be, I
Yeah,
want to
'cause-
think it through.
Because like YouTube, what you don't want, I did this video a long time ago. It was a silly video. I think I was frustrated. I was hot.
Oh, you definitely were frustrated.
I didn't want to do it.
It has nothing to do with eBay.
It has nothing to do with eBay. It goes back to house flipping days. And anyway, it was, I had to do with a repair of a roof or something like that. I can't remember what it was. 3 minutes, and we had, 50,000 views on that? Well, guess what? When people come to our YouTube channel to look at that video, and that's not what our channel's about, that's a no-no.
Yeah, it's very negative.
So we have, did we take that one down yet?
No, it's still there because it still brings in views. So.
But I think, didn't you add something that kind of direct people?
I
And say,
did,
hey,
yeah.
This is, what
So-
we used to do, but we don't do this anymore.
So we started this channel, and it was mainly about homesteading and homemaking recipes.
House flipping.
Yeah, it was a lot of everything, which is not really a good thing for a YouTube channel either. And so we kind of let it die because we were focusing on building up the YouTube business over the past year. And roughly, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago, we started kind of making some eBay material, and we talk eBay all day long. So we finally
And
decided.
Nobody else wants to hear us talk about eBay.
No. So we finally thought, if we're figuring all of this out for ourselves, there have to be tons of other people who are trying to do this the same way and who are.
Or at least one. I mean,
Yeah.
swamp pickers there out there.
Yeah. But if we can find out something and figure it out for us, and we're doing it on a small scale, we just want to be able to share that. So we started to pivot our YouTube channel to just being about eBay. Well, here's the thing with an algorithm, because eBay has an algorithm, YouTube has an algorithm. If the algorithm gets confused about who you are and what you do, then it doesn't know who to send to you or who to send you out to. So as in our pivot, I had to go and not delete or make it not public. A lot of videos that did not have anything to do with what we're spending all of our time doing right now. And but then we had these two videos that were from old, like one of them's from like 5 years ago, but it still brings in thousands of views every month. So if I deleted that, it would cut our watch hours. So we're in this catch-22 where we just want to be strategic about it. So once we get to a certain point, we will delete it. But currently, if you came to us because you watched a video about roof repair,
It's my bad.
that's the reason why it's still there, and it makes no sense whatsoever with the rest of our content. And I'm sorry, this is a long story, but that's the reason why I am really hesitant to be focused about not bringing in the wrong people. Because if someone came to our channel because of that video, they're not going to be interested in our eBay videos, then the channel's not serving them. So they're either going to unsubscribe or they're just not going to watch any of the videos that show up in front of them. So we don't want to have that same thing happen to our eBay store. If people come and look at our store and there's nothing that they like and they don't buy anything, then the eBay algorithm sees that and knows that. So that's the reason why I'm hesitant to put things out on social media without really thinking it through.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people out there. So using this example in eBay, there's plenty of everything sellers out there. So we're not, or at least we're trying not to be everything sellers. We're trying to focus mainly because, shipping drama and all kinds of other stuff that we're not really set up for and don't really have the bandwidth to, have something different every 5 minutes going out.
It's getting to be less stressful.
But, we also did need to get rid of stuff in the garage. So, and that is going away. But, if you came to our store, which we are guilty, we have sold a couple of women's things because they put them in the men's section and I bought them and brought them home. And my wife was like, that's a women's shirt.
Now he does rarely ever gets home with it. So.
Yeah, now we don't. But, we had a few. And if you're a woman and you came because you wanted to buy that shirt, and then the rest of the stuff I have is men's, you're not going to come back.
Right.
And then eBay goes, well, that customer apparently was not super happy with them. So anyway, something to think about. Another thing they talked about, and it's not like you had to have this in eBay because you could just as easily tell Chad or one of the others, hey, help me answer this question, and then cut and paste it. But apparently now there's supposed to be AI store description help. So I think there's some stuff we still need to fill out when it comes to our
that's what I was
store,
talking about earlier. I did recently see that, and so I'd hit the button to let it help us out, and it was
not helpful.
Not. It didn't sound like our store.
Yeah.
So
maybe
it's a starting place.
Yeah, something might be better than nothing, but still. All right, Smarty Pants. What does ADS stand for?
ADS, in what context?
ADS Trends and Strategies.
Not a clue.
Yeah, she was going so fast. So it had something to do with market trends.
Okay.
And we've looked at some of those before, see what's selling now kind of deal. But there's supposed to be some guides related to that, either here or coming. It's also supposed to be a guide on the suggested ad rate, which, we
spend way too much money on.
Well, we do, but,
But
the question is, what if we didn't do that?
I know.
Will we have any sales? So, we keep saying, hey, if our sales take off, we'll start backing off a little bit. We use dynamic in the general. And we do have a little bit of the offsite specifically for like higher end stuff. But
We can't decide if it's.
yeah, I'm not sure if that's helping out. I don't know if we're spending as much money as we're selling when it
I
comes
know
to
we have
that.
one item that needs to come off because it's.
Well, it goes back to the women looky-loo kind of stuff. They're looking, but they're not buying, and that's not good for us.
Right.
So, anyway, they did a little eBay myth busting. I think if you've been on Instagram or some of the other things, you've seen some of these, and one of them is like, don't use special characters. Be very specific.
Like the letter, or the number 3 for the letter E,
Or
and an exclamation point for an I, or something like that.
Or
Or emojis.
don't use emojis or all that stuff. The question was, when is a shipment technically late? Because we had an ice storm one time, and we're not going there.
Don't go there.
Because
Yeah, don't.
I wrecked the car because I was determined I was going to get it to the post office.
Don't want our shipments to be
We
late.
live, just a reminder, we live up on a hill with ice on our driveway. So anyway.
Quarter mile up the driveway,
we're not
and the
going there.
driveway is
No,
about
we said we weren't going there.
No, okay.
So, anyway, when is something actually late? Now, don't quote me on this because I was like, we always thought that the post office had to scan it, and that means whether it was late or not. Now, we weren't able to get out of the house for a couple days because I think part of it helped.
It was
the
on a
weekend.
Friday, yeah.
So we were able to get it Monday, but we were at least one day, maybe 2 days late, but it still got to the person in a reasonable amount of time, and we didn't get dinged.
No.
So they say, don't quote me on this, and we'll try to do some more homework on this, but it's not late unless it's outside of eBay's suggested delivery
Right.
time.
So if it says 2 to 4 days delivery, and you don't ship it on, like, we do same day shipping. So if something is paid for before 2 o'clock and payment is processed, then we will get that shipment out that day. You
That's what we
typically
do.
go to the post office at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if we had an item that, for whatever reason, we had a snowstorm or car breakdown, and we could not get that shipment or that package to the post office that day by 4 o'clock or whatever the cutoff time is, and it didn't get scanned into the post office, it would not be considered late, provided it arrived in that 2 to 4 day window. So it wouldn't be considered late unless it did not get there by that day 4.
Yeah. And we have seen eBay cover us a little bit when they say, okay, we can see that there's ice storms in a lot of locations. There's going to be a delay kind of deal. So they're pretty decent about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was all about when it got scanned. And so, take that information and, best bet is just to get it there as fast as you can. So they also clarified something. They were like, they gave 3 things. What impacts seller rating? And the 2 that actually do impact it are how many cases are closed without a resolution. So if you have some kind of issue with a buyer, case it gets, whatever, opened, like if you never come to a resolution on that, then that's a no-no. So, you got to come to some kind of resolution, whatever that is. Somehow it needs to be resolved. The other one was transaction defect rate. So we have yet to have this, although somebody chose to send a very thin glass picture to somewhere, so we may end up with this one. I'm anxiously waiting on it to be.
Based on the amount of packaging around the glass thing, I don't think it would be possible for it to arrive broken.
Well, let's just say hope I'm wrong. That because I also have this fear. So I tried something. I'm not going to say it out loud because until we see if somebody tries to scan us, but it's like,
A
you know what?
secret marking.
We marked it specifically to make sure that if someone said, "Oh, this arrived broken," I would be like, "Turn it upside down. Let me look at the bottom." Because if it doesn't look the same as what I sent, then, I'm going to know you already broke this. You bought a replacement. Now you want to send me the broken pieces back. Totally different thing, but I'm sure that happens quite a bit. If it's ever happened to you, let us know. But that would show up as a defect rate.
I think that Michael's brain goes to dark places a lot faster than my brain.
For my entire life. I mean, if you've been in construction, it's a dark place.
And my name is Hope, so.
Yeah. So we've lived two different lives, Yours has been very cheery and bubbly, and mine is not. And so, that being said, I'm always looking for ways that people are going to try to. So, but I really thought if we got negative feedback, that was going to really impact our seller rating. And they said, nope.
That's interesting.
And in fact, we have gotten notifications and emails that says this is not going to affect your seller rating.
Yeah.
So they allow people. So we just had this happen not too long ago. Guy got all bent out of shape because he didn't want to pay to ship it back to us because it didn't fit him. I'm like, you know what? We provide pictures. We provide dimensions. We put all kinds of notes in there. And clearly, our return policy is stated. And you knew that before you threatened me.
Or you overlooked it.
Yeah. So you're bad, but I'm not Amazon. So I'm not paying for you to ship that back to me because you didn't do your due diligence on that. That's construction part of me coming out. So eBay gave us a terrible feedback. And I asked him to remove it, and they said, nope, he's entitled to his opinion as long as he doesn't say anything.
But he did threaten us with negative feedback
twice,
if we didn't.
Really. He did it one way, and then he did it, and then the other one was just all out.
But ugly. It was vague. It was like, do the right thing, and I won't give you negative feedback or something like that, along those lines. He never gave a specific dollar amount or exactly what he was asking for.
And we never could get clarification. He threw a fit. Here's the deal. He took it to eBay, I'm assuming, and eBay didn't take it to us. So they told him, sorry, you don't have anything to declare. So we never had to, there wasn't a problem on our end, but they would not remove the negative feedback. And I thought that's going to affect our da-da-da, and it didn't. So.
It didn't. And I do think that one thing that we need to remember moving forward is that involve eBay as little as possible. Like, only bring eBay into it if it is really worth the hassle, and potentially getting your store shut down if eBay deems what you did to not be above board.
Yeah. I mean, we've not
done anything questionable, but
the number of times that I've asked eBay to, hey, here, you can document it. You can look at the chat. You can see where this guy started off at 6 a.m. on Palm Sunday and got violent quickly. And I tried everything I could, and basically they don't care. So anyway, last question then that someone asked was, does a store subscription improve your visibility? And the answer is yes, because having a store subscription opens up things that you can't do if you don't have a subscription.
Right.
I don't remember
the
what
ability
things it
to
does. Make offers. Is that one of them?
I think you can still make offers, but
Maybe
the ability
coupons.
to send coupons,
That kind of stuff.
run sales, all of those tools that are available to us as store subscribers. Someone who's just selling as a private individual would not have access to all of those.
Yeah. So the last thing they did was announce that eBay opened for 25. Pretty late. If somebody was, in
So
fact,
somebody's a planner.
yeah, it was pretty late. It was August.
Basically, you've got 3 months to secure a hotel room. But
but you can't start yet.
yeah, you got to get the tickets aren't available yet, are
Well, you have to apply, and then you have to get approved. So it's limited.
they? Okay, yeah, they did say there were a limited number of tickets, so do not make your plans yet if you're.
Don't be buying plane tickets.
Yeah, so.
Anyway,
So I don't think we're going to go to
saying-
Vegas. Maybe maybe we just need to do a live watch party.
So it's in Vegas. I didn't get to that point yet.
Oh, okay.
Also, it's August 12th to the 14th.
Yeah.
So if you're poor like us, we will be watching it on YouTube or whatever, and not going. If you've ever been, we would love to know, what your thoughts are. I can see a huge benefit in networking with others there. I'm not sure that I would see a huge benefit from some of the sessions, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I wonder, like, if this group that met in Nashville, if that would be a better local option, because Nashville's someplace that we could go
That's
and
easy.
yeah.
We're just
Where has the eBay open? It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you really want to go, first of all, go apply, and because they said limited number. I guess it's just maybe it's all inside one hotel, and maybe the hotel rooms are connected to all this. I don't know because we're not planning on going. But they made a really big deal about do not
Make travel arrangements.
until you have gotten 100% approved by eBay that you are welcome to come. So keep that in mind. But it is going up pretty quick. They kind of waited late, and I guess better now than
Yeah. Swamp Bicker says it's more about meeting people.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
can see the
I see
benefit
that.
to that. I can see the benefit to that, and plus, I think like flights to Vegas are fairly inexpensive compared
I don't know.
to a lot of other places.
Because they want you to get there and spend your money.
Yeah, we went one
Yeah.
time for a Lowe's convention, and I've never gambled in my life and had no idea what to do. So we took a little bit of change and did the slot machine a couple times. Every time we would kind of walk through the lobby. I think we were stayed at Caesar's Palace or something. when
We did
it.
stay at Caesar's, and which made it all good because gambling is not a temptation for me. But for someone who does enjoy gambling, it probably would be.
Yeah.
Swamp Picker said he won the grand prize from American Bubble Boy
Oh, wow.
Shipping.
Wow.
What was the grand prize?
Yeah, nice. I won. I didn't lose any money when we were in Vegas.
I do think this was forever ago, and I think that we set aside like $30 before we went. We're like,
might have been
here's
just
our
20.
cap. We're not. Once we lose that, it's gone, and it didn't take very long. I don't think
we spent more
slot
time.
machines or something like that.
We spent more time going to some shows, and I was more interested in all the different looks of the casinos. And we did go to the dam.
The Hoover Dam.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I knew this was going to happen, and so we're going to postpone the discussion about sales data to next time.
Okay.
I figured I had too much stuff, and so I should have
Yeah.
just stuck with my gut because I have enough that I'm not sure I can get through
No,
all
you
that
couldn't
in an
even touch
hour.
on it, and we're already at an hour. So.
Yeah.
But I want to say, oh wait, he said bubble wrap, tape, and more. Waiting for it. Yeah, we've like he
Yeah,
said.
somebody needs bubble wrap if they're going to sell glass.
Exactly, I was about to say, we do have a little stash of stuff to wrap things in, and we've been holding on to some boxes because we've been meaning to get to this construction inventory, and we have stuff that we'll need to ship that needs some extra packaging. But we went through a whole lot of tape to mail a little glass Bodum milk frothing. I don't know what you call it, carafe. Anyway, we went through a lot of tape, and so tape and bubble wrap sounds like a really great price.
Yeah, if it gets there
Mm-hmm.
in one piece and they keep it and they don't play games with us, we'll make $1.
$2.
Yeah.
But it
It's
took.
not worth the stress.
It's
My
definitely
stress,
definitely not worth that for
the
us.
goodies I had to take to bring my blood pressure down after that, but that cost $1.
But the construction stuff that we have sent that we've just been able to like wrap up and send out, that's been much less stressful. So
Yeah, so far so good with that.
yeah, so far so good. But I want to say thank you to anybody who is new and has subscribed to our channel. We're still a baby channel, and it really means a lot just to have like 1 or 2 subscribers at a time. And we really appreciate you guys who have spent the past hour with us. Hopefully you're getting some work done while you're listening to us ramble. But this is a lot of fun, and we really do enjoy doing the lives on Thursday. And I enjoy doing the updates throughout the week, and we have a lot of things in mind for just sharing information that we're learning. I think eBay is an incredible platform, even with all of its thorns. It's an incredible platform for people to have an opportunity to build a small business. And I'm just, I don't know, I guess I'm becoming more and more passionate about sharing that because I've seen what it's done for us. We're not making a killing. Our goal is to build a simple business. And we want to keep things simple. We want to be able to pay our bills, but we don't want the beast to run our lives. And I think that you can have a lot of fun with eBay. I think eBay people are fantastic. And so.
Well, it's a major answer to prayer because, and we can go into a fuller ordeal for those who never heard it in the first part. But, I don't do construction anymore. I can't do it anymore. And physically, I can do this. And there's a lot of other people that are in a situation where, they can't do certain work, certain jobs. And that's a whole another hour of discussion. But this is an answer to prayer for us. And who knew? Now, like I said, the only reason why we started this was to clean out the garage.
Right. But I've joked that we probably should have named our store Our Daily Bread because
Yes.
God just provides the manna that we need just in time through all of our sales. But we are having a lot of fun doing it, having a lot of fun mentally, keeping up with the technology and trends and seeing things that are working. And it's been a great relationship builder, I think, for us because we have seen how our brains come together and we process things differently. So it's just been a great experience for us, and to be able to share that on YouTube means a lot to us. So even if this channel is never monetized and we don't ever earn anything from it, if we're able to use this as a platform to help other people, then that's what it's all about.
So next week, I'm kind of disappointed that I can't get into this today, but we will talk about sales data.
You can dream about it for the next 7 days.
So this is just a section of the bigger topic of data tracking, which, the reason why we're data tracking is because we're trying to create our own research and be able to pull from because your store is different than my store.
Yep.
So you can't just generically trust, what other people are saying because you might not find that where you're at.
No.
You might not sell it. But there's so many different things that in me digging this, I was like, I didn't think about getting into that kind of, thought process. And that is important to think about, where are the bulk of your sellers? I mean, we're in Alabama. We sell a lot of people in the West Coast. Well,
We do. We sell to a lot of people in California and Washington State.
Well, if we're basing our, shipping off of
Shipping to Georgia.
That's not the same thing as shipping it to California. So, anyway, we'll talk more about that next week. And for anybody, for whatever reason, eBay puts out this thing that talks about monthly meetups. And we're having our virtual one tonight, but we never made it to the advertisement for whatever reason.
But then it showed up today.
Yeah, but not in the advertisement that everybody gets.
Right.
We just know that we're on the board now, so we'll see.
In the live description, as it comes up after we're finished, I will put a link to the spot to register if you're interested in joining us tonight. It'll be a Zoom virtual meeting, and this is the first one that we've done. So hopefully we'll have somebody show up. We've got some eBay swag.
Yeah, well, it's only going to be about 30 minutes because of, reasons we discussed before. But If nobody shows up for this one, we'll try again and see if we can get on the advertisement ahead of time so that people actually know about it. So, but anyway, all that to say is sun's still out here. Hopefully y'all are having, good weather where you're at. And we better enjoy it. Well, we had a couple of cool days. And
I'm not complaining.
all that means is in Alabama is that was spring. Now we're moving into summer. It's about to get hot.
Right. Well,
so-
every day that we can go without the AC on is a huge blessing. So
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, those days are numbered.
Limited, very, very limited.
So anyway, thanks again for coming by, and God bless y'all. Have a great one. Thank you. Thank you very much. No, really. I appreciate you.